Welcome to the weekend edition of the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's podcast, we feature all of the best segments from this week's slate of Undisputed with in-depth interviews and discussions. We have a lot to talk about heading into Monday. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Our next guest will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in August. Terrell Owens, welcome back to Undisputed.
Thanks for having me.
But that T.O. had a head full of hair.
I got hair, man. I just keep it low, you know what I mean? You sound like my son, man. He just getting on me.
By the way, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
You got it.
Yes, congrats.
Absolutely.
Let's show a tweet that you sent to 49ers GM John Lynch over the weekend. You wrote,
yeah.
I know Jimmy G is going to need a big play receiver this year at some point. Let's make it happen. Hashtag stay ready. Hashtag vetmin.
That's right.
So how serious are you about playing in the NFL?
Well, you
again?
know what? Why not? I mean, if the opportunity arises, you know, for me, everybody has seen that I'm in still great shape. I've been training with a number of guys from Julio Jones and Ross, Travis, Kelvin, Travis, Kelsey over the summer break, and so. For me, it's just a matter of, like I said, if the opportunity arises, then I will entertain it. But am I actively seeking? No, but I'm always going to be engaged on social media. Everybody has seen really the shape that I'm in. You know, still got it. It's not a reason why I can't play.
T.O.
Oh,
Being
my
it,
gosh.
being real, you all T.O. You gonna be 70 and be abbed up.
No.
Being in shape and being able to take a football hit after 10 years.
Why can't I take a hit?
You can take a hit, but can you get up from those hits?
Absolutely. I'm built for this.
T.O., you ain't played football in a decade.
I'm built for tough. You know, I'm from Alabama.
I
man.
know where you from.
All right, then. Well, you should already know. You should already know. I'm not like everybody else.
Oh, I know. You would. But here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. What makes you think someone would call you?
I'm not saying that they would.
Okay.
Like I said,
But
if the opportunity arises, like I said, am I actively seeking? No, but I'm always going to be engaged with my fans on social media. So again, people have seen me work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? They see that I can still do it.
Can you practice training camp? Can you practice day in and day out?
Dude, I'm a veteran, so like I said, under the right circumstances, yeah.
So you would need a day out, okay.
Well, a coach would understand, like,
Right.
okay, I'm of age, so
Right.
okay, give me a breather here and there.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Terrell,
take care of me.
This is where my man Shannon Sharp and I part ways. I am on your side on this one. I do believe
Really?
nobody stays in better shape than this man. And by the way, there's this team down in Dallas called the Cowboys.
Oh, my God.
And right now, we don't even have a number 1 or a number 2. I'm not even sure we have a number 3 receiver right now. You know that, and I know
Y'all got
that.
a bunch of number 2s.
We got maybe a bunch of number 3s. And seriously, age to me is just a number. You're 44, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It just doesn't matter. Can you play right now? I believe you could play. Could you stay healthy? I don't know for sure. Could you survive those hits? Probably you could. Right. Let's just do hypothetically. The Dallas Cowboys say, we're going to bring you in. Your role will be somewhat limited.
Right.
You're going to catch, I don't know, your last year at Cincinnati, you caught 72 balls. What if you caught 30 or 40 balls for the Dallas Cowboys? Is that realistic?
Yeah,
yes.
put them in a situation to get into the playoffs and opportunity to win a championship. Absolutely.
Can you catch balls out of the slot? Can you run slot routes? That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to make your point for you.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Check my resume. Check my tape.
But
Yes.
here's the thing, though, Skip.
Yes.
There's somebody that coaches the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones?
I don't know why he went. I don't know why he started there.
of all the teams.
the teams.
Crying need. It's just like it's glaring. It's screaming for somebody.
Why not start with a coach that I went to the Super Bowl with?
I just remembered.
Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Wait, I just
Kansas
remembered
City.
what you recently said about Jason Garrett, so that would be a problem, maybe. But
So, yeah.
whatever. I don't even care. You can make peace. You can go forward.
I mean, I can coexist with anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue until I got released, and so other than that, man, I was working in harmony. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's ups and downs. Like you said, you know, people go through certain situations, but my role on that team, like I said, I was trying to be a leader. You know, understanding some of the things that happen, you know, elsewhere. So,
Okay, was Dez Bryant not a disaster last year? He led the NFL in drops. Do I think he could be almost as effective in the ballpark with what Dez did for that team? I do. I honestly do.
You can't do worse.
Well, who could?
I mean, Dez's situation, again, obviously we don't know why his production dipped. I mean, obviously injury has played a big part in that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then again, you talk about the offensive coordinator, you think about the head coach, they see him on an everyday basis. So they are able to assess what he can and cannot do.
Right.
So those injuries that he's had, you know, those are part of the reasons why he weren't as productive.
Right. So, but here's the thing, though. When you look at and I've said you're one of the few big receivers that could run the route tree.
Right.
And you came into a system in the West Coast, you had to be able to play different. You had to play Z, you had to be able to play X, you had to play in the slot.
Right.
So you had to do a lot of different things. So you had to learn the route tree. And I feel what inhibited Dez is Dez didn't learn the route tree. Dez only plays X receiver. He only plays on the ball.
Well, that's not Dez's fault.
Okay.
That's the offensive coordinator's fault. Those are the people that put him in position to be able to succeed.
Right.
So again, they've been able to see what Dez was able to do the time that he's been in Dallas.
Right.
So again, like you said, the packages, zebra, eagle, learning wide in the slot, outside.
Tiger, far double wing.
Exactly. So those are plays and formations that they're able to put Dez in. But obviously limited playing time because of the injuries plagued him, and everybody has seen his dip in production over the last 3 years. Everybody know he has big playability, but he wasn't able to enhance on that because, like I said, I don't even think he had a veteran in that locker room to help him along.
Right.
Let's go back to the Hall of Fame. The night you were chosen to be in the Hall of Fame at the Super Bowl, Shannon was there. You did not show up for that night that you were chosen.
I had a basketball game.
Okay. You weren't making a statement of any kind because they kept you out for, what was it, a couple of years?
3 years.
3 years.
Took
yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always, made my point about the situation. I think I've been treated unfairly based on the process, and you talked about the bylaws, the criteria in which guys are, nominated and ultimately inducted. Obviously, there's been hoops and loops that I had to jump to get in based on my statistics. I mean,
They changed the bylaws to keep you out.
Right, exactly. So to keep me out based on hearsay and
Okay.
all these other things, I didn't really take too kind to that.
I got it.
Other than that, I mean, I'm in now.
But you were the only entrainee who didn't show up, and I had no problem with that. Were you making a statement like, I'm not going to go along with this because you were hard on me?
Right. I did it the first 2 years because
did.
statistically, where I stand, I should have been in. If not the first time, okay. If you want to make a point, you made it.
Okay.
The second time,
Yep.
come on.
There should have been no point made. You look at this. His numbers says, if there is such thing as a first ballot, he's it.
Right.
He and Randy were the best receivers of their generation. He's one of the 3 men that ever can say, you know what? I've been a first team All-Pro on 3 different teams. Forget there are a lot of guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that did worse things than what
Okay.
T.O. If you want to say him,
So
the Randy on the sideline, but they're worse.
But that's the thing.
Fast forward.
Okay.
Can you put all that behind you and embrace this event that's about what?
I mean,
what is
I've
it, August,
already embraced it. I think I'm using this moment to really share with the people that have sacrificed for me to be and do what I've done. You think about where I came from, Alexander City, Alabama, small town. I guarantee you, my coaches, they're very proud of me, but nobody thought I was going to come out of there and be a Hall of Famer as I sit here today. When I went to UT Chattanooga, they afforded me an opportunity, number one, to get an education. I played football and basketball there, ran a year of track. So again, nobody thought that I would be sitting here a Hall of Famer. So I realized what I did on that football field, I earned it. Nobody gave it to me. So I felt ultimately disrespected. I wasn't disappointed because, like you said, my stats spoke very, very loudly. You can put all the other stuff to the side. Like I said, because somebody feels a certain way about me, that shouldn't be a reason why you can't induct me and give me what I deserve, what I rightfully earned.
Go ahead, Skip.
No, that's okay. You chose to present for you George Stewart.
George Stewart, yeah, he was my receiver coach after Larry Kirksey transitioned. George Stewart was my special teams coach for 3 years
In
San Francisco.
right?
So he understood. He saw me. I mean, on an everyday basis. This guy basically he knew that he saw some potential in me. Every time we went on the road, he would pull me to the side as he saw me progress year to year. He goes, "Dude, you're going to be something special," and I believed in him, and he believed in me. And so when he took over that receiver position, he allowed me to be who I was as a person. Because despite what everybody has said about me as far as, me being arrogant and cocky, when I played on that football field, that's how I was. But off the field, that's not who I am.
Have you made peace with any of some of the guys that you've been in Dallas, you San Francisco, Philly. Have you made peace, say, with Donovan, with Jason Witten, with any of the guys that?
I mean, I haven't talked to any of those guys. None of those guys have reached out to me, and
None of them said congratulations.
no.
What?
I mean, I'm not mad about it, but it is what it is.
In Dallas, do you feel like Jason, as the offensive coordinator, was behind the scenes, pulling some strings or doing some things that you didn't think was on the up and up? What happened? What transpired between you and Jason Garrett?
There's no reason why. I mean, I still have no answers. I just had finished a 3-year deal there.
Right.
I had just signed a 4-year extension.
Right.
And I go into the offseason. I had a call with Jerry Jones. He asked me, this is before they built Jerry's World. The next year we go into the big stadium.
Right.
He called me and asked me, he goes, what do we need to do to get to that next level? I thought we were talking as owner, player. I thought we were having a conversation as to let's see how we can make this right, how we can make a big splash in Jerry World. I mean, after that call, I thought I was solid.
Right.
Maybe a month or so later, I'm down in Miami. He's there for a meeting in Fort Lauderdale. They called myself and my agent to the hotel, and that's when they basically he did what he did. You drew a line on the table, put everything Cowboys related on one side, put T.O. on this side, and he drew a line and he said, we're parting ways. That's how I got cut. That's how I got cut. I don't have an answer as to why. So when you think about why, to me, there had to be somebody and someone that ultimately led to my departure.
Because you had just come off a 1,000-yard season.
Dude, there's like we talked about this the other time.
We did.
The sheet that was filed to the league, it said that it was production based, not anything conduct detrimental.
Right.
None of that. They had a number of boxes to check,
Right.
but they said it was production based. So I knew that it had to be coaches and some players that were behind the scenes saying, "Oh, I can't play with this guy." But why? Because I was being productive.
Right.
I was trying to do things behind the scenes in an organization where we could progress because we weren't doing anything.
But see, you are, how do I say it? You are a loner, and I think the biggest misconception about you, T.O., and the bit I've been around you is that what they see on television, they think that's how you are off TV.
the field.
But you're really quiet, you're really reserved, you're really to yourself.
Right.
And
that's how I was raised. I'm a product of my environment. And so again, that's how I've always been able to be successful, no matter what the turmoil or situations or encounters are around me. You know, I always put my faith in the man above. And when I used to listen to Skip and all these other guys say this and that and the other, I knew that it wasn't true. But if I went out there and played bad, that was going to validate what they said.
Right.
So that's why I went out there and I played with a coat of armor on me, man. I just went out there and just played because I knew everything that I did was under a microscope. But like I said, that's not who I am off the field. You've heard some of the greats say it. When they in between the lines, when it's competition, it's like a switch. And that's how I am. When I'm in between the lines, I'm a different animal.
So allow me to say this. You seem different today, good different, and you may not be able to see this or accept this, but I believe this is great for you because you feel validated, and I hope you can go up there and really embrace that whole weekend.
I feel validated how?
You have earned it, that you got in the Hall of Fame.
No, that doesn't validate me. I've always felt this way. You guys have seen me on an everyday basis. You know, like I said, you've always said, you know, I've divided the locker room 50-50. But you guys never took the narrative that I was a great guy based on the other guys that said that. You guys took the narrative that I was a bad guy, this and that and the other. So that's what the world believes. That's the perception that the media has portrayed about me.
See, he won't let me say anything nice about it.
No,
I want to go back into
we gonna get that. We gonna get
Does Bryant have anything left in the tank? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Dez Bryant was released by the Cowboys in early April, but he is still not signed with a new team. Dez's numbers have been down the last 3 seasons after having double-digit touchdown receptions the previous 3 years. We're joined once again by T.O., who played 3 seasons in Dallas. Do you think that Dez will get signed?
I think he will. Again, even if it's a 1-year deal, at some point, again, as the season progresses, we approach the season, somebody will sign him. I have no doubt in that.
He had a 3-year deal, $21 million on the table for Baltimore, and he turned it down.
Well, I can't speak for
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah, you like, what was he thinking?
Well, he was thinking that he wanted a 1-year deal to prove to the league he's still a big star. so he could get star money.
I mean, I don't know if that's the right approach to take.
No.
But again, I mean, to turn down money that's on the table, I think that's a little, crazy. But I think if that's his approach to try to prove himself, then he has to do what's best for him.
Yep.
And I think, and I've talked to Dez, the best thing for him to do, like if health has been an issue as to why his production has dipped, then the best thing for him right now is to get himself in the best possible shape, get himself healthy, and prove himself. That's the only thing, that's the only way he can go out and really show people that he can still play at that Dez Bryant level that we expect him to play at.
If you watch Dez on tape, what do you think some of his strengths are? What are his weaknesses?
I think you look at the production. I think it's all about really the offense and how they utilize you. You don't really see him doing a lot of the over the middle routes. A lot of the routes have been outside. Some of the same things, and that's what I've been so critical about Jason and the Cowboys, because I saw that when I played. It's just like the year when we went 13-3. We caught everybody off guard. We were scoring left and right, and then teams had an off season to really game plan us, and then our offense started to stifle a little bit. So you have to mix it up.
Right.
And so those are some of the issues that I had. And then, they felt like I was going against the grain, or I was, overstepping my boundaries, stepping on his toes. But like I said, that's me being a player because I'm in the mix. I understand the game. And so with Dez, I see some of those same things that were happening with me. They have to utilize him to his strengths. And injuries, like I said, if injuries are a reason why his production dipped, then that's one thing. But you have to be, as an offensive coordinator, put him in positions to where he can succeed and make plays.
Well, obviously, my issues with you were never in production and on-field production. Dez just lost it last year. He lost a step that he couldn't afford to lose, and then he lost his confidence because he couldn't catch anything. Led the league in drops. We just saw one, the Chris Harris Jr.
Harris Jr.
Just right. You just, after a while, you either can play and produce or you can't. And I think the league right now is sitting back saying, I don't know. The tape does not lie. And it doesn't tell you much about Dez last year.
Only Dez can answer a lot of these questions. Again, I think the thing for him is really just get in a situation, get on a team where he feels like he can flourish and really try to extend his career. But at right now, like you said, the tape doesn't lie. We've seen it the last few years, and I think the Cowboys feel justified in their release because of his lack of production.
Remember,
plus
they feel validated because nobody's picked him up. Because everybody,
well, he could have been picked up. He just turned it down.
I'm still shocked to this moment. Jerry Jones cut bait with Dez Bryant. He loved Dez like a son. You had a relationship with Jerry that was strong.
Right.
And you just told the story, but at some point, if Jerry says no, man.
But I think obviously it's Jerry's team. But then again, you have guys that, again, I feel has Jerry's ear at the same time. So again, like I said, I know some of what Dez had to go through, but a lot of why they departed ways was because of his production. If Jerry had the relationship that we all know that he has, and he's producing, I don't think we would be sitting here talking today.
No.
But like I said, a lot of it has to do with his production, and I think, again, Dez has to come to grips with that and understand that now he needs to get on the field and produce. So is he preparing himself to do that? Again, if I'm in a situation to go to Baltimore, like I said, when I left San Francisco and I had a chance to go to Baltimore, they didn't have a Joe Flacco though. That was why I didn't go to Baltimore. But if I'm in a situation like Dez, I'm taking that situation because they have a Super Bowl champion quarterback in Joe Flacco who can sling the ball.
It gets hard when you're a veteran receiver and they view you as basically a one-trick pony. They look at Dez and say he only runs in-breaking routes and it's 50-50 jump balls. T.O., when you move teams, you could run the comeback. You could run the speed out. You could run the bang 8. You could run the over. You could run the shake. You could run the... See, he's looking at me like, okay, you know what you're talking about. But you don't see Dez. I haven't seen Dez in the last 4 years run a speed out.
Was he running those routes prior? That's the thing. They know what they had in Dez. So if he had certain routes that he was only running, then that's what they were doing with Dez.
They were having success with Tony throwing him jump balls. You know that.
Right, but
back
again,
shoulder
now
fades.
but now they have a new sheriff in town. Now they have Dak Prescott.
Yep.
He's a different quarterback.
Totally.
So Dez has to adjust his game.
Correct.
So he can't just rely on, because, Tony's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. When I went from team to team and I played with quarterback to quarterback, I had to adjust my game with everybody. From Steve to Jeff Garcia. I mean, I played with Elvis Gerbach, Jeff Brum, Tim Rattay. You go Donovan McNabb, Kai, Detmer. I played with everybody. So I had to adjust my game accordingly.
Right. And
I had that fire to be the best that I could be. I learned a lot in San Francisco. That was the basis in which I became, from good to great. And so when you look at Dez, if he's only limited because of the routes that he's running, that's not Dez's fault.
Well, what do we do about that now, though? If that's all we've seen him run, how do we know he can do something else? It's hard to get a guy 29 years of age that we've only seen run in-breaking routes and jump balls to say, you know what? He can run the speed out. He can run the comeback. He can run the shake or the over route. How do teams convince themselves when they haven't seen this on tape in an extended period of time? How do they convince themselves that, yeah, he can do it?
I mean, they can bring him in for a workout. Again, if we haven't seen Dez run it, that's because the offense wasn't running it.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can't vilify him because we haven't seen it. Because like I said, if they're seeing it, if they're doing it in training camp, OTAs, and in practice, then they should be able to do it on the field on Sundays on game day. So they're allowing him to do what he does best. And if that's outside on the numbers, if that's jump balls where he's advantageous, then that's what they're doing. You can't vilify this guy because we haven't seen him do it.
Right.
They have to run it in practice. They have to do it.
So you recently said that you do not understand how Jason Garrett still has a job, and I'll be honest with you, I don't either. I've said that for about 3 years. I think a lot of people don't understand.
And I said that in perspective because you look at, I go to basketball. I think I love basketball. And you look at Dwayne Casey at the Toronto Raptors, Coach of the Year.
Yep.
3 50-plus win seasons. Playoffs every year. And
Couldn't
this guy,
beat LeBron.
And this guy has no job. Jason Garrett has nothing near those
With 3
accolades. Near those accolades.
Yep.
And everybody has been the scapegoat every year.
But you're not surprised. You know why Jason Garrett still has a job. Because Jason Garrett is coaching title only. Jerry Jones is the coach. And any strong personality that's been there, Jimmy Johnson won, think about this, T.O. Jimmy Johnson won back-to-back Super Bowls, and Jerry fired him. Bill Parcells said, you know what, I'm done, I'm out. Enough of this.
I've already said, I mean, that's Jerry's decision. I mean, if he wants to get those Cowboys to the next level, then there has to be a change. It can't be always players. It can't always be someone other than the head coach. Because the head coach takes on, and obviously these players take on the personality of the coach, the head coach. The head coach manages the game. You think about the game that they played against the Green Bay Packers, and there are some things that happened with that game. Rodgers came back and won that game. You can't put that on the players. And this now, Dez, nothing has happened since I left, and they said that I was the problem in 2009. What have they done since then? Nothing.
Skip, that's your team.
Well, nothing. They haven't done anything.
Well, they had 2 good years. They had the one Romo year, the 12 and 4.
2014.
Yeah, 2014, and then they had the first Dak year.
But I look at those years too.
Yeah.
I guarantee if I'm on those teams,
Yeah.
Tony Romo's probably still playing. Guarantee you, because some of those issues, again, when you have a dynamic player such as myself, you implement them in the game plan. It takes a lot of stress off a quarterback that especially him being injury riddled, to make plays when you have a playmaker out there. You bring up Dez Bryant. We haven't seen him be that playmaker that we once was. So again, you put some guys in position to make plays, then some of those injuries and some of those they don't happen.
So what's the ceiling for this team coached by Jason Garrett this year?
I don't know if there's a ceiling. They may be the basement.
Okay, what's the basement?
Oh,
The basement? I don't know because Jason Witten just retired.
He did.
Dez is gone.
Dez.
We just saw it. We just talked about it at the beginning of this. They had probably, I don't know, a bunch of number 2s or number 3s.
Well, they had an underwhelming draft, to say the least.
So I don't see them being the Patriots. I don't think they have the Patriots blueprint where they can just bring some guys in and make it happen.
I give you a choice to take one receiver in the NFL. You get one receiver, who you taking?
Ooh.
One.
One?
One.
He's taking T.O.
Just one?
Just one.
I'm going to go either Antonio Brown or Julio Jones. And I say that because I've had a chance to work out with Julio.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is super. This dude is super real. He's for real.
Is he bigger than you? He's maybe an inch taller than
No,
you?
I'm taller than he is.
Really?
Yeah, but
I thought he was 6'4".
He's a little thicker than T. He might be a little thicker than you.
He's like 230. Move like a cat. Move like a cat.
So can Antonio, though, boy.
No, Antonio Brown. Oh, awesome. Like you said, if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Antonio Brown because he's been consistent. The only reason Julio hasn't been in the topic of conversation is because of some of the injuries.
Yep.
But what he did this past year, it's a travesty too, to have 1,400 plus yards and 3 touchdowns. That cannot happen. They just went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, and to not be in the conversation the next year or so, he was underutilized.
No mercy. Yesterday, Terrell Owens announced he will not attend the Hall of Fame induction ceremony in August. T.O. said he'll celebrate elsewhere, and he'll announce where that will be at a later date. The Hall of Fame responded by saying they were, quote, disappointed with T.O.'s decision. Our next guest is a professor and author. His newest book is titled What the Truth Sounds Like, and it's available now. Michael Eric Dyson, welcome back to Undisputed.
Thank you all for having me.
It is
It's
a
great
pleasure to see you again.
Oh, it's great to be
Yes,
at this
sir.
table. It's great to be at this table.
Good to have you back.
All right.
Michael, how does this look for T.O.?
You know, look, I'm a huge T.O. fan. I was even a fan of his when he was complicated and a problem for the media, because I hearken back to another Philadelphia guy, Dick Allen. Y'all won't
Ooh,
remember.
I know him well. Yeah.
I mean,
I covered him.
Who was a phenomenal ball player, but difficult, you know, because black athletes aren't allowed to be difficult, you know. White guys were independent and willfully assertive. Black guys are your problem, your trouble, right? So I understood T.O. with all the craziness. But, you know, funerals are for the living. I'm not saying the Hall of Fame is a funeral, but it's an interment, so to speak. It's an installation. It's a memorializing of a legacy. And I think that for those who you know, clapped for him, who applauded for him, who fought for him, maybe he's a little bitter because I should have got in the first time. And it's true. He's just that phenomenal. But he should have got in, but you didn't. And now you don't want to look petty. You don't want to look smaller than the moment. Live up to the greatness and the grandiosity of the moment. And I think that it denies his fans the ability to praise him and say, we love you. We told them that you deserve to be there. So I feel torn on that. It's his right. I don't want to determine what another man does, but at the same time, as a public figure, and I think athletes at that level have a certain public responsibility, I think it would be good for his fans to be able to celebrate along with him.
I totally agree. I said this earlier, that as long as you allow someone to have your feelings hostage, you'll forever be in bondage.
Right.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame, that's football heaven. Now, some men aren't fortunate enough, Skip. They get an opportunity, they go in there, they know nothing about it.
Right.
Their families wish they could have had this moment.
That's true.
To be here to enjoy it and to speak to what it means for them to be here today. T.O. has that opportunity. I do believe one day, if T.O. do not change his mind, he will look back and regret the day that he didn't have this opportunity to speak. Because this is your opportunity to thank the people that gave you this opportunity. If you don't have to mention coach, you don't have to mention quarterback, you don't have to mention another player. But they're a family. Before you put that 49ers helmet on, or that Cowboy helmet, there are people that helped you get to this point.
That's right.
This is your opportunity to thank them publicly. You've done it privately, but let us see who these people are. Mold them, just like Blair Buswell, the guy that does the bus. T.O., this is your time to build a bus for your grandma. This is a time for you to build a bus to those other important figures that's helped you along the way. This is petty. He's been vindictive because he didn't get in when he thought he should. He says, now I'm going to do what's never been done before. There's no living person that's been elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame that's failed to show. And for him to do this is unacceptable, and I'm beyond disappointed.
Look at one other vindictive guy named Michael Jordan. Now, he got there. People said it was petty and bitter and nasty, but he showed up.
But he showed up.
He showed up and showed out.
And he showed out. Ninth grade, stand up. I'm going to invite you here on my dime to embarrass you.
You, and you.
He didn't even invite Jerry Krause.
No, but he called him out.
Oh, my God, you know.
I've had my battles with Terrell. I try to love Terrell because there's a lovable side to him.
Right.
He's a smart guy, had a high football IQ. But the Terrell I came to know is not happy unless he's unhappy. That was his MO the whole way.
Wow.
He needs the chip on his shoulder.
Right.
And when we both sat here, we had him sitting in your chair this past Tuesday, and we both encouraged him to embrace this moment.
Right.
Put all the negativity behind you, all the conflict, all the controversy, and go up there and enjoy what you achieved on the field. You earned it on the football field.
Right.
And no one will remember in posterity, it took 3 times, it took Chris Carter 6 times, it took this man 3 times. It's forgotten.
Right.
You're in.
Right.
You're enshrined in this hallowed house, this football heaven. I put it on a pedestal above the baseball or the basketball halls of fame because these man among men, right?
Right.
You can be there with Shannon and Joe Montana and Jim Brown, and
That's right.
it's real, true validation of greatness.
Yes.
And instead, he didn't. I think he wanted to get happy with us, and then he got to the precipice edge, and he looked over into pure happiness, validation, and he said, I don't want that.
No.
Yeah.
I want to keep my martyr card because the TO I covered as a player, he was constantly driven by they're out to get me.
Yes.
My coach is out to get me, my coordinator's trying to undermine me, and my quarterback is trying to make me look bad.
Right.
And he wants to hold on to that because that's driven him and fueled him his whole life.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I think he would be happier being happy in the end.
Right. Yeah, and look, with the recent deaths of Kate Spade and now Anthony Bourdain, and God, bless their memories and their families, we don't know the psychological profile of any individual. We don't know the caverns of agony that light from within, that burn them, that may spill over to enormous competition. But we also know that given the fact that we all grapple with stuff we can't name, we don't want to judge you. But in light of what you claim to be the basis of your particular career, and as you have discerned it and as Shannon has discerned it, what drives you, understand the moment. Understand that whatever frustrations you have and whatever complaints you have can be amplified by that stage. Going there and wearing that jacket and seeing visuals of that. We're talking about Malcolm Jenkins' visuals.
Yeah.
Look at the visual of you in that jacket. That not only I made it, not only I'm on the top of the world, but my very existence here is justified by people who are beyond coaches and coordinators and quarterbacks who tried to naysay. I'm here at the top of the mountain because I deserve to be here. And there's no better message to send and no better way to send that message than by putting that jacket on among other men who have also scaled the heights. And there's a kind of knowledge there, let's be honest. There's a kind of intimacy that only those guys share. As much as we
25,000
love.
men, Doc, only less than 400 have been in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Think about this. Denzel Washington won the Academy Award Best Actor for Training Day.
He did.
Right.
He was much better in Malcolm X.
No doubt.
He was much better in Hurricane.
Right.
What if
I don't know. I might start arguing with that. I don't know. I don't know.
Training Day's pretty good.
Well, he was
Hurricane,
great.
I
you
don't
saw,
know.
But see, Training Day portrayed him in
I
different
got you.
light.
Whole
Right.
different. He
But what
plays.
if
He was brilliant in all of them.
He doesn't really do bad movies. But just say for the sake of argument, Skip, he's nominated for Training Day.
Right.
He doesn't show up because they snubbed him for
That's
Right.
Malcolm X. They
Right.
snubbed him for Hurricane.
Right.
But I ain't
Exactly.
showing up, and he wins. But
Well, look, and then here's the point. When he shows up at Training Day, which I love, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm going to put myself out there.
Oh, I love it.
Look, but your point is he should have won for Malcolm X, but Malcolm X was more complicated. Reuben Hurricane Carter's more complicated because it shows black heroism and championship mentality against the odds, and now a pathological black figure gets embraced. That's a problematic thing. But his particular portrayal was genius, and it forced us when he won for Training Day, hey, let's go back and look at Hurricane Carter. Let's go back and look at Malcolm X. So let's go back and look at T.O.'s career. When you go to do a great album, you go back and like,
That's
oh,
true.
I miss what you did before.
Yeah.
Let me go back and research that. Oh, Dyson, your book is, let me go back and see what you wrote before.
So,
I mean, we can
is
do
that what they did with Michael and Thriller? So you had to go back and listen to Off the Wall?
Off the Wall, which was phenomenal and even better. And even better.
But
She's
T.O.
out of my life.
T.O. is,
Yeah.
you were talking about, Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain's Rest His Soul.
Right.
You're talking about we don't know what's going on inside.
Right.
Cesar Romero says some things can only be seen through the eyes that have cried. So we don't know. We know T.O. is a very complicated. His childhood, his upbringing is a little different than a lot of people.
Right.
And it's raging. And like I said, he's a guy.
Right.
If he ever feels you've wronged him,
right,
he's never letting it go.
Yeah. Well, everybody has a past and everybody has a journey
Yes.
and everyone deals with it differently. But this is not a moment you're going to get back.
No.
It's not an experience that next year you can say, well, I think I'm going to go now. This is your one moment.
Right.
And like you said, it's not really for you. It's for everyone that helped you get there. It's for everyone that supported you and had your back when people were saying you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
And isn't it just interesting that it happens under Trump? Look at the similarities: narcissism, self-involved, preoccupation with me. And if I remember,
T.O. probably had these tendencies a little bit.
No. What I'm saying is ironic that he gets elected to the Hall of Fame, and that this gesture happens in a political atmosphere where the very same narcissism and sense of complaint and culture of victimhood that the president portrays, we see being reflected on this gridiron as well.
Just to lighten it up a little bit, Leonardo DiCaprio had a very big gripe for a long time too.
But Malcolm X.
Well, look, Tom Cruise still ain't got no darn. Still ain't got no darn. Are you kidding me? Tom Cruise? Tom Cruise, born on the 4th of July? Are you kidding me? I mean, Collateral with Jamie Foxx. How come Tom Cruise ain't got no Oscar?
I'm going to put paper on all you.
Come on.
We'll leave it there. Michael Eric Tyson's new book is called What Truth Sounds Like. Michael, thanks for
23-hour lock.
No mercy. Carson Wentz had to watch the Super Bowl from the sideline with an ACL injury, but Sporting News still listed him as the 5th best quarterback in the league in their newest quarterback rankings. Dak Prescott was put 10 spots behind Wentz at 15th. Dak has 45 touchdowns and 17 picks in his first 2 seasons. So, Shannon, do you agree with these rankings?
I think he's too high. I think Dak Prescott too high. Too high.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because Cam is 19.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
My point exactly.
He's a former MVP.
Former MVP has taken a team to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Alex Smith. Check down Alex.
23rd. Wow.
Stop it, Skip Bayless.
Interesting.
Yeah. I ain't got no problem with walking to him because they know what I know. He only going to go higher. Next year, he'll be higher than what he is right now.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Limp it to him?
Really, he sure will, Skip.
So
your guy will not.
Wait, he's ranked 5th on this list ahead of Big Ben and Matt Ryan and even Phillip Rivers?
Whoa, Skip.
What?
She asked me about Dak. I deal with the other situation later. I'm talking about Dak is ranked too high. 15 is too high because he's not better than Cam and he's not better than Alex Smith. Forget Andrew Luck because Andrew Luck hadn't played in almost 2 years, so I don't know where he is. I can't put him, he should be ranked lower than what he is. But with that being said, he's not better than Alex Smith or Cam Newton's. All these other, I ain't got no problem with him being ahead of McCarron and Bradford and Manning and Flacco. I got no problem with that.
That's big of you, yeah.
Got no problem with that.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, but old walking to him, you see where he is, top 5.
Top 5.
They say top 5.
So you are right there on record as saying he is now better than Roethlisberger or Matt Ryan.
No, I got a problem
That's what this list says.
I got a problem
Are you
with
disqualifying the whole list?
Skip, first of all, you got Jimmy Garoppolo at 8 in front of Phillip Rivers.
Well, maybe
really?
Disqualified. I don't know.
No, I'm saying, but they cheated off my paper. Because I had old Dak a little lower than that.
Oh,
but,
really?
Yeah. They
So
didn't get it verbatim.
One second-year quarterback ranks 5th going into his 3rd year.
Yep.
And the other ranks 15th.
Should be
That's 10
17th,
spots.
18th.
Yet, I just look at the raw numbers here. Let's start with my favorite stat, QBR. The best way to rank quarterbacks, rate their overall performance, both arm and legs. And Carson Wentz's first year in the league, he wasn't very good. He ranked 24th in QBR. Dak ranked 3rd, and he led most of the year. That was his first year. And then last year, your guy did finish first. My guy finished all the way down to 4. And yet, if you do a minimum of 600 quarterback plays last year, because unfortunately Carson Wentz did get hurt in the game against the Rams out here in Los Angeles, right? So if you do minimum 600 quarterback plays, Tom Brady ranked number 1 and Dak ranked number 2 in QBR last year.
We do a minimum of 500 plays.
Yeah, and so let's look at what happened last year. Your guy, walk it to him, was on a magic carpet ride. Nothing went wrong. He got new receivers. He got new running backs. He got fresh blood everywhere.
He Aladdin.
Oh, wow.
That's why the carpet was magic. Yeah, he Aladdin.
The whole world.
Yeah. And meanwhile, my guy, Dak Prescott, he finally lost Zeke after that cloud.
Yeah, that
hung over the
hedge.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember Job, the hedge? His hedge was removed. And what happened, Skip?
Well, he lost Zeke for 6 games. He lost Sean Lee for 6 games, the heart and soul of the defense. And then he lost A.S.mith for 3 crucial games without Zeke.
If you're that guy, you got to do it. Tom
By
Brady
the way,
loses, guys.
Dez Bryant, by all of your view, was a disaster last year. You said he was just a shell of himself and a liability for my Dallas Cowboys. And half the passes that Dak threw last year went to number 88, and he led the league in drops. So everything went wrong for my guy, and yet he still finished 4th in QBR. If you average the QBRs for the 2 years, my guy's 73 and your guy's at 67. That's a big gap.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Your guy checking it down. What are the explosive plays your guys got?
My guy's Brady-esque. He just takes what the defense gives him. You know?
Yeah.
We just saw an explosive play.
Bobby Brady.
Did you see that long throw against Arizona to Bryce Butler for a touchdown?
Stop. Skip.
Wow.
Will you stop? Because this is what I tried to tell you in the beginning. In their rookie seasons, you could not understand why people still had Carson Wentz ahead of Dak Prescott.
Well, who's people?
Everybody with rankings. The general manager said, they're wrong on this one. I keep telling you, he did not have a running game. He had no receivers. They go out there and get him a little help, a little this, a little that. Now look what happened. Now he in the front. Because my guy has finished someplace your guy has never finished, which is first on the QBR scale.
Oh, so your guy has played how many playoff games so far in his career? 0?
Yeah.
He's played 0. Wait a second. So he ranks 5th on the list with 0 playoff games?
He was going to win the MVP.
He's
Had he
ahead
not
of
got
Big
hurt.
Ben and Matt Ryan and Philip Rivers, and he's played 0
Had he
playoff
not
games?
gotten hurt, he would have been
Seriously?
the MVP.
Oh, really?
If you don't mind me
I
asking-
don't think he could have done what Nick Foles did. Whew.
If you don't mind me asking, what's your quarterback's playoff record?
My quarterback played 1 playoff game against the great Aaron Rodgers and my guy threw for 302 yards and 3 touchdowns. And he had a QBR that day of 79. Aaron had an 80, but he had a 79 in a playoff game. That's high. Listen, it's scale 0 to 100. The 79 is high.
You know what I'm noticing?
Yeah.
Joy, I don't know if you noticed this, Joy. Let me give you a little context. I'm starting to notice that Skip guys, they put up these big old flashing numbers. How many yards?
302.
302.
This is first playoff game
First
as a
playoff
rookie.
game.
As a rookie against Aaron Rodgers.
Tom Brady had 505, a playoff record.
Record in the Super Bowl.
And both of them came to my restaurant and had a table, fine table. Put them right there so everybody could see them. Big old L. I put them in the front window.
Front window?
So everybody that walked by see them in the L Cafe, the losing cafe.
Yeah.
That's what I call it, Old Sharp
Yeah.
losing cafe.
Did you let Mason Crossbar in the front
No.
door?
Don't do this, Skip.
Mason Crossbar hit field goals of 51 and then 56 yards to win the game. I don't know how they went in, but they did.
He said, because I'm the restaurant owner in the losing cafe. He said, well, Shannon, Skip don't never say anything about Adam Vinatieri.
Well, he's not in this conversation.
Yeah, Tom Brady got 3 Super Bowls because of him.
Oh, but he drove them a lot, like 40 and 50 yards at a time to set up those field
Did
goals.
you see Aaron Rodgers throw? Did you see that throw? How he backpedaled, he pirouette, whoop, spinning around like that, and you're like, threw it.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw my Cowboys in a prevent defense with 6 DBs
What that got
back
to
at
do
the
with him?
20-yard line. I'm like, cover him.
They did.
Nobody covered him. He was standing by himself at the sideline.
Nobody can
He was
defend
pitch and catch.
Nobody can defend the perfect throw.
I could have made that
You
throw.
can't hit the perfect pitch.
Huh?
I mean, I don't care how good if he throw that thing just right on like 100 miles an hour right there, just on the right there. Man.
Well, can you explain how this guy's ranked 5th in the league with no playoff games at all? I'm not talking about wins or losses. He just hadn't even played a playoff game.
Well, hold on, time out.
Is this on is beauty in the eye of the beholder? Is just the way he looks?
Well, Andrew Luck has won a couple of playoff games. Why he not high?
Well, I don't know. That's a whole nother story.
Okay,
in this
Cam
list.
Newton. So Cam Newton should be in front of him.
See, you keep changing the subject because you have no answer to your guy having played no playoff games.
My guy would have played a playoff game had he not been hurt. You make it seem like his team was going to be 6-10. He had his team. They had lost 2 games.
Who had the higher degree of difficulty last year?
Carson.
Dak? Oh, Carson Wentz? Really? Yeah. Oh, with all those new toys? All those new weapons?
Expectation.
There was no expectation.
Yeah, it was.
There was none.
I told you what was going to happen.
Nobody picked the Eagles.
I told you
Nobody.
what was
Nobody.
Fly Eagles fly.
You did not tell me
Fly
what was
Eagles
gonna,
fly.
You told me Fly Eagles fly in December after you jumped on their bandwagon when you saw it was happening. You woke up one day and said, wow, my guy's starting to look good.
I saw the wheels coming off your bandwagon real early.
Well, it was
Week
because
2.
we knew that Zeke was going to go at some point.
But I tried to tell you that. You said, nope.
Week 2, the wheels came off at Denver.
They never got back on.
Nope.
They were wobbling.
Week 3, they went to Arizona and had a huge Monday night win.
Well, I mean, they did get back on. They had that little
Would you
donut
believe that last year, a bad year for Dak Prescott, he had 2 of the top 10 QBRs in all of football?
And he had 3 of the top 15 low QBRs too. You remember that game? You remember that game in Philly?
How did he have low QBRs? He was ranked 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, but he had high QBR. He lost Aaron Rodgers again at home, but he had a 97 QBR in that game.
What is it with him and Aaron? Why can't he
How
beat
about
Aaron?
against your guy, Alex.Smith, that you're raving about? Remember that Kansas City game? That was after that debacle at Denver. That was the best game the Cowboys played all year. Remember that? They looked like a powerhouse.
Did you remember Alex.Smith in the first game of the season, that Thursday night game against the Super Bowl champs?
Yeah, and then what happened?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then what happened?
He was the MVP for the first 6 weeks.
Huh. Who was the MVP of the whole league?
Tom Brady.
Thank you.
But
he's
he's
ranked number one on this list.
Aaron,
you think Brady's way overrated? How's he number one?
No. We're not talking about Brady. You keep changing. I'm talking about Dak.
You changed the subject.
Dak is ranked too high. He should not be in front of Cam. He should not be in front of Alex.Smith.
He's a top 10 quarterback. You just
top 10 of what?
Wait and watch.
No,
just watch what happens.
Stop playing.
I'm not
now
playing.
you know good and well Dak is not top 10. Now stop it.
I don't know that.
You playing too much.
Brady-esque.
Skip. He's not better than Jared Goff. He's not better than Deshaun Watson. He's not better than Stafford.
Yes, he is.
He's better than Phillip Rivers. He's better than Phillip Rivers.
I'll take him over Phillip Rivers right now. I will. Kirk Cousins ranks 14th. Does that make Minnesota queasy? They're paying him the most money. What did I tell you? He's 14th. That's the only one they got right on the whole list.
First Cousins. He's better than Dak.
Huh? Oh, please.
Better than Dak.
Dak beat him every time.
So?
Dak's undefeated against
But
Kirk
now
Cousins.
he got some weapons. Because Jordan Reed has missed 16 games. One of the best tight ends in the league has missed 16 games over the last 3 seasons.
Dak doesn't need weapons. He's just going to throw it to himself.
Well, then why didn't they get the playoff? He didn't need no weapons.
You know, I don't usually defend Ryan Tannehill, but Mahomes and Trubisky?
I don't know how Mahomes is ahead of a bunch of people and he hasn't thrown a pass yet.
They got him ahead of Dalton. So you know
And I see Manning. Mahomes isn't above Manning.
Oh, interesting.
That's Archie.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Eli got to be like 38, 39.
No mercy.
Patriots wide receiver Julian Edelman is reportedly facing a 4-game suspension for violating the NFL's PED policy. He will reportedly appeal the decision. Edelman missed all of last season with an ACL tear, and he's been one of the Patriots players that has worked with Tom Brady's controversial trainer, Alex Guerrero. Guerrero issued a statement yesterday saying, quote, "I've known Julian since his rookie year, and he's a phenomenal athlete who takes his training seriously. It's disappointing to hear today's news. Elite athletes sometimes work with multiple coaches and health professionals as part of their training. Here at our facility, we take a natural, holistic, appropriate, and above all, legal approach to training and recovery for all of our clients, and anyone who would suggest otherwise is irresponsible and just plain wrong." Shannon, what does this say about Guerrero and TB12?
Skip, it's not a good look because I might train with a trainer, and there might be 5 other guys, 10, 20 other guys that train with same said trainer.
Yep.
If somebody comes up positive, everybody's looking at, well, that guy Shannon trains with that same trainer. So everybody's looking. Now they're going to start looking at Shannon sideways. Skip, here's the thing. Now, Guerrero easily could have put that statement out. He says elite athletes sometimes train with multiples. He could have said Julian Edelman trained with multiple. He said elite athletes sometimes. He didn't say Julian. Because he could have really easily clarified that. He could have said Julian Edelman, I'm not the only trainer that Julian has.
Yep.
Now, he did throw him under the bus a little bit, and had he said that, he'd have been driving the bus also. Skip, it's just, now we don't know what he tested positive for. He is appealing the suspension, so we'll see how that plays out, Skip.
Yep.
But I think this is validation for Coach Belichick because we know how the Patriots are viewed around the league. And the last thing you want is something like this. And Skip, this might, like I said, Guerrero might be isolated, but because Julian trains with him, he brought Guerrero back into the fray. And fair or unfair, that's just the way it works. And this is bad, Skip. Julian Edelman is 32. He's coming off an ACL injury. Now I think he had foot problems one year. He suffered a broken foot.
Yep.
But Julian Edelman, his whole game is start, stop, quickness. Without that, he's just an average. He's just an average guy.
I think he was an average guy to start with, but go ahead, yeah.
So without that,
Right.
Skip,
Yep.
and when you're 32 ACL,
Yep.
this is what we know about the New England Patriots, Skip. They don't wait for anybody for anything, regardless. Injury, suspension,
Yep.
they will get you up out of there. Julian Edelman knows that. So I'm not saying he did it. I don't know what he did. All I know is that he tested positive and he's trying to file an appeal. But this is a bad look for him. This is a terrible look for him because this is all him. It's in his body. And as they say, you're responsible for what goes in your body.
Yep.
But because he trains up under that TB12 method, that's a horrible, horrible look for them as well.
By the way, just a note, back in 2012, Richard Sherman appealed a PED suspension when he tested quote-unquote positive, and he won. So it's happened. There's precedent to win this.
Right.
But I don't know what went on. We'll find out.
Right.
Now, back to Alex Guerrero. I am with you on this came off as really suspicious. This raised red flags that did not need to be raised, that you went to that length in that statement to defend your methods and philosophy and say that they're natural and holistic and appropriate and above all legal. Really? You had to go that far? To paraphrase William Shakespeare, he doth protest too much, right? You're protesting until I'm like, wait a second, why are you protesting?
Ain't nobody asked you.
What? Who said, who accused you?
Ain't nobody said nothing about Alex Guerrero.
Right.
Nobody said, probably for the most, what if you're just a casual person? You don't even know who Alex Guerrero is. Now, obviously, if you follow the NFL, you follow the Patriots, you're well aware of who he is.
Yeah.
But he brought himself into this, Skip.
He did.
He didn't have to offer that. He didn't have to offer that explanation.
He did not.
When was the last time someone tests positive and their trainer says, step forward and says, I've never heard it before. I've never heard it trained. That could be.
Okay, now, to the bigger picture, just me, I didn't think that Julian Edelman was really a TB12 guy. I thought he hadn't bought into the method yet because remember Tom versus Time? Remember episode 3? Remember that exchange? They were up in Montana about to go work out. Maybe we should check that out again right now.
Let's go! We were just educating Julian on fast twitch muscles and how he is neglecting to understand the core principles of what we're trying to do to maintain our longevity as we further our playing career. But if Julian just wants to play another couple years, that's Julian's decision, okay?
The one exercise I did yesterday was a bench press, and I'm getting killed about this.
Right. Someone needs to protect you.
I've been hearing this for 8 years. 8 years. We've been in an argument for 8 years.
So he's saying for 8 years I've fought this, or at least since Tom discovered Guerrero, and all this pliability and flexibility that Amendola completely bought into. Julian's saying no to it. So he's not at heart a TB12 guy. He rejected the diet, the nutrition, and all of the stretching part. He said, I'm a weightlifter. I got to stay strong. Well, most football players would be right there with him, right? Shannon Sharp was right there with him. Right? You got to lift weights to stay strong.
Correct.
So they're ridiculing him for not being a TB12 guy, not buying into their new concept that obviously has added years to Tom Brady's NFL life, but Tom Brady's a quarterback, and he's a little receiver who's going to get knocked around and make some over-the-middle catches where he's going to get clocked, right, by Cam, whoever's back there.
You go hit Luke Kuechly,
Bobby
Wagner.
Yeah.
But here's I don't know, I might go to TB12 method, I'm trying to get flexible, Joy. Pliability, I would be flexible. What if Julian Edelman is flexible? Now, if he can do a split.
You ain't doing no split in those pants anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, Joy.
Okay, but back to your point, I wouldn't be suspicious of him being a TB12 client, even though he did some of his rehab there.
Right.
I'd be suspicious of the classic prototype of the overachiever, the college quarterback who was too small to play in the NFL, who got drafted in the 7th round, the last round, and somehow made himself into a very good receiver, thanks in part to that quarterback who's throwing to him and trusts him.
Right.
But all of a sudden, to your point, he's 32 and he has an ACL rupture, career-threatening. And you can see what can happen. You can get desperate and say, I don't know if I can make it back.
You know what, Skip? Guys are playing longer because guys, and with technology, they know more. They eat better. They train smarter. And they have people that can help them. But we would be naive to think that there are not some athletes that will push the envelope because the money is too good.
Oh.
You're not making that kind of money that a professional athlete makes once your career is over. So you try to stay in that pocket as long as you possibly can, and you go right up. Skip, I know I've always been in shape. I've always looked like this. And they say the test was random. Well, how am I getting tested 5-6 times a year, and Tom Ruin and Jason Elam is getting tested 1 time a year? I know what y'all trying to say. Because I walked around with Scotch tape all the time, Joy, because I was ripped. That was between Joy. Yeah, Joy, I'm gonna miss you, Joy. I'm gonna miss you. I got Scotch. Oh, I left it downstairs. Put your old shape back together. Skip, I know what they're trying to do.
I have to live with you.
You go. You here for perpetuity. I ain't going nowhere. But that's the thing, Skip. I mean, the guys are playing longer because they do know more. They have more information. They train smarter. They eat better. They've surrounded themselves with people that know more than they did 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. But don't think for a second, if I can gain an advantage and I think I'm not going to get caught, that guys won't do that. That's just the way it works.
Well, so let's take it briefly on the football field. Now Tom Brady has to play, it looks like, potentially 4 games with no Edelman and no Amendola and no Brandon Cooks because they're obviously gone. And what?
You got Gronk.
You got Gronk.
Sonny Michel. Oh, Tom Brady will be all right.
Yeah.
Hell, he got to the Super Bowl without Edelman.
He did.
He got to the Super Bowl the year
Without
before
Gronk.
without Gronk.
Yeah.
So he'd be good. I ain't worried about Tom.
Yeah. Maybe he'll throw one to himself.
Well, we know he can't. No, he can't catch it. He can't catch.
He might have to.
No, you Skip. He had an opportunity. Could have been in history. Only quarterback in NFL history with a 50-yard touchdown catch.
Yeah, he was tired from throwing for 505 yards.
No, that was the first quarter.
It's too much of a workload.
That was first
You have
quarter.
too much of a workload to have to expect him to run after a ball and catch it when it's thrown over his head.
First quarter.
Shannon Sharp could have made that catch.
You crazy.
Ah.
One hand, Joy.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing in the end zone. After I catch the ball in my left hand.
Really?
Yep. They're like, look at O'Shea go. And off to the races we the band.
505 yards, the playoff record. Can you believe that?
And I had something special waiting on him. Yeah. Had them old nice bedazzled L.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that old bedazzled L to be special.
Do you have any L's prepared in the, waiting in the...
Oh, ain't no L's going down tonight.
In the freezer for tonight?
Brandon happening.
You gonna make them fresh?
As a matter of fact, we giving the custodians the night off.
Really?
They don't have to clean up nothing. But pick up a few cups from the stand. There will be nothing on the floor. There'll be nothing on the floor. There'll be nothing in their locker room. Everything will be nice and pretty.
I hope you're right. I'd like more basketball.
There's going to be more.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Monday for another full week of Undisputed. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.